India needs a credible deterrence strategy for cyberspace. What is the significance of India taking cyber norms seriously? What is cyber deterrence? How different is nuclear deterrence from cyber deterrence? How India should deal with international law in cyberspace? GS Paper 3, Basics of Cybersecurity. What is the context about? Recently, a committee was formed under the aegis of India's National Security Council Secretariat. It has been set up to suggest policy and strategy for India for development and negotiating of cyber norms. Cyber warfare no longer remains a figment of science fiction but a proximate reality that states need to grapple with when framing geostrategic policy. What is the significance of India taking cyber norms seriously? This would of course catapult India to a leadership position at the cyber norms high table. More crucially, it would also send a signal to the wider world that India not only has a credible deterrence strategy in place, but also has the intent to act through the utilization of cyberspace. This posturing could deter the kind of acts that have plagued the region in the past few months and lead to long-term stability. What is cyber deterrence? Cyber deterrence focuses on making potential adversaries think twice about attacking, forcing them to consider the costs of doing so, as well as the consequences that might come from a counterattack. There are two main principles of deterrence. The first, denial, involves convincing would-be attackers that they won't succeed, at least without enormous effort and cost beyond what they are willing to invest. The second is punishment, making sure the adversaries know there will be a strong response that might inflict more harm than they are willing to bear. How different is nuclear deterrence from cyber deterrence? Nuclear deterrence works because few countries have nuclear weapons or the significant resources needed to invest in them. The international community has established institutions, such as the International Atomic Energy Agency, and agreements, such as the Treaty on the Non-Proliferation of Nuclear Weapons, to counter the catastrophic threat nuclear weapons pose. Cyber weapons are nothing like nuclear ones. They are readily developed and deployed by individuals and small groups as well as states. They are easily replicated and distributed across networks, rendering impossible the hope of anything that might be called cyber non-proliferation. Cyber weapons are often deployed under a cloak of anonymity, making it difficult to figure out who is really responsible. And cyber attacks can achieve a broad range of effects, most of which are disruptive and costly, but not catastrophic. How India should deal with international law in cyberspace. The 2015 report of the 4th UNGG had laid down a commendable framework for cyber norms. India has wisely chosen to build on this process, rather than abandon it altogether. Section 3 of the report lays down several norms, rules and principles for responsible state behavior in cyberspace. India needs to clarify when cyber attacks amount to the use of force as prohibited by Article 2(4) of the UN Charter. India needs to lay out ground rules for the use of self-defense in cyberspace.